So in this section, we're going to implement secure file upload handling using ASP.NET Core and the built-in iForm file data type. The most exciting part of this entire section is that we're going to explore implementing antivirus scanning. File uploads can introduce malware or executables disguised as documents. They can lead to path traversal attacks, where an attacker might be able to navigate to a particular directory or file that they shouldn't be able to. They can escalate their privileges and get access to sensitive parts of your server. Sometimes in handling file uploads, we make some dangerous assumptions. Remember that we are treating all input as evil. So let us start by looking at the potential for malware or executables to be uploaded to our system. Uploaded files are untrusted binaries, not just data. File extensions and MAM types can be spoofed. Executables can be disguised as documents like PDFs, images, or zip files. They can be embedded inside other files. And storing malware is often the first stage, but that's not the attack itself. We're moving on to validating file types. One of the comments here warns that we are currently accepting executables, DLLs, and various script file types, and that is a potential point of attack. There are several ways that this can be done. Way number one is that we simply check the file extension, and that sounds effective because we can get the file extension and we can check for the known dangerous ones or create like a whitelist and make sure that the file extension is in the whitelist. However, somebody can easily change the extension of a file. So they can have an executable file or a script file and call it a PDF. And then you think it's a PDF, and when you open it, it will then execute. So that is not an effective method of checking, as simple as it is. Another way is to check the MIME type, which is basically metadata about the file that kind of declares what kind of file it is, but that can also be spoofed. So in the folder structure, I've introduced a new folder called services, and here we have file validation service. In the app settings.json, I have also added a section called file validation, and I have a section for denied extensions and a section for allowed signatures by extension. But notice that this is a dictionary where I'm defining the extension and the signature. So this is what each of these file types should have as the header on the file before we can verify that it is that type of file. Also, there are certain extensions that can introduce vulnerabilities. For instance, SVG can enable XSS attacks. So if we want to outrightly deny some, we can do that, and we can have our allowed ones where we whitelist. Also, in the program.cs, I have registered the model that represents our app settings.json. I'm going to show you that model in a few, but we have file validation options, which is to be mapped to the file validation section of the config. And I'm also registering our new file validation service and the interface. So let's jump over there to see what's here. We have that interface, and we are defining a method called validate, which is going to return validation result. In the implementation, we have our file validation options being injected. So we're extracting the value from the config. We're also setting the max signature bytes, where we're looking at the bytes of the file that is coming in, and we make sure that we read enough bytes to match the longest signature in the allow list. Now, our models are defined as the file validation result, which is what we will be returning from our method validate async. And it's simply saying is valid, true or false, giving a reason and a matched extension. And we also have the file validation options, which we mentioned before, which is going to map to our denied extensions list as well as our allowed signatures by extension list. So let's quickly go through our implementation. First of all, we're making sure the file is not null. Then we're getting the extension. And if the extension is empty, meaning somebody tried to upload a file, and there are times when you have files that don't necessarily have an extension to them. If they try that, then we're going to reject it right from the get-go. Then we're checking our denied extensions list. If the extension appears in that blacklist, we reject it. For the allowed list, we're going to read the header of the file relative to the max signature bytes and then compare against the signature for anything that is allowed. And it's just going one by one to see if each byte matches. And if everything is okay, we return true. Now, jumping back to our controller, I will now inject our file validation service. I can inject it to the whole class, but I can also just inject it to the exact action that we'll be using it. Now that we have that, we can add a simple enough if check right at the start of the method. And we also need that cancellation token, so I'll just add that parameter to the method. Let us take this for a quick test. I'm going to start off by testing with a JPEG file, and we see where we got a response suggesting that it was successful. Let's try again with a file that has no extension, and it was rejected, rightfully so. And finally, I'm going to test with .jp file, which is not really a JPEG, it's actually an executable, and I changed the extension. So when I execute, it will reject it because file contents do not match the declared file type. Now, we still don't know if the file is a virus or not, even if it matched all of the headers and other validations. We want to make sure everything lines up. So we need to implement some form of quarantine where if the file is to be flagged as malware, then we move it somewhere else and we do not proceed to actually upload it to the file system or to the regular storage area of the file system. And by extension, we don't store it in the database. We're going to be using ClamAV, which is an open source antivirus engine that can be used for our educational purposes. Of course, in a corporate setting, you're advised to use a standard that your company has set as the antivirus, but we're going to be using this because there are packages available for us to be able to integrate with it. So you can go to clamav.net and you can go to download. There are several options available based on your operating system, but the one that we are going to be using is via a Docker container. If you don't have Docker or you're not very familiar with Docker, you can go to docker.com and you can download it. It is also available for all operating systems, and I will be going through enough to help you with this exercise. However, if you want more knowledge on Docker and how you can use it to help to build cloud native apps with ASP.NET Core, then you can check out my course on cloud native app development, where I bring you through the basics of Docker and how you can containerize your apps. Once you have installed it, jump over to your CLI and start the Docker daemon or background service. Use the command start Docker to ensure that it is running. The Docker start command might look differently based on your operating system. To install ClamAV, we're going to say docker run -d, and then we're going to name this new container clam container 01, and we're specifying a port which is going to be 3310, and we're just mapping it to our internal port of the same number. Ensure that you have no other apps running on that port, or you choose an empty port number for this first port where you don't have any apps that might be using it. And then we specify the image name. Let's jump over to the code side of things, where we're going to start with introducing a new package called nclam. This is a wrapper around the connectivity needed to speak to our running container or wherever that nclam service is. I have a new service called ClamAV scanner. So I have in this file an interface called antivirus scanner, which does a scan and does a ping, and we're returning scan result. Scan result is defined as a class here in the models folder, and it gives us the status, the virus name, or raw response if it is clean or infected. We also have the enums for clean, infected, and error. And we also have ClamAV options that will map to a section of our app settings that I'll show you in a second, where we're defining the host, the port, and we're doing localhost and the port that we would have set up. So in our app settings.json file, we have this new section, ClamAV, where we have our host and port. So we define them here. If they were missing, then the class has the defaults anyway. And we define other defaults as needed. Now jumping back to our implementation for ClamAV scanner, which is inheriting from our antivirus scanner class, we are defining our Clam client and a logger. And in the constructor, we are initializing what we need to initialize. So we have this new class called Clam client, and we can pass in the host and the port values. Ping is simply checking, is the service available? So this will return, it will either return with an exception, we catch and return false, or if it returns something useful, then we return true. Further down, we're doing the scan async. We're passing in the file stream, and then we're sending it over to the client. We're using a method send and scan, and then we retrieve that scan result and return an object as needed. We also catch any exceptions whenever that operation might have failed. Now, the most significant changes are in our files controller, and I've made them already. The first change is the introduction of a quarantine folder. So now we have a folder inside of app data that I'm calling quarantine, and this is where files will go whenever they are uploaded, and then they will be scanned before they're moved to the actual target directory. I've modified the upload method to 1, inject our antivirus scanner service, and then anywhere that we were uploading to the target directory, I've now changed to the quarantine path for that target directory. Now, the real change that we want to investigate here is with the scan. So we save the file to quarantine path, and then we're introducing our virus scan while the file is in quarantine. Open the stream in quarantine path, and then call our scan async method and retrieve that scan result. The scan result is going to be evaluated. If the status is clean, then we're going to set our upload path, close the stream, which is very important, because if we don't do that, then it will get an exception that the asset is still in use, and then we can move the file from quarantine to the upload path. Otherwise, if it is infected or there was an error, then we're going to have some other business process. The file stays in quarantine. You may want to delete. You may want to flag or send some alert to some cybersecurity resource at your organization. Whatever your internal process is, I'm going to make a modification to my own logic here. So I've replaced the break statement with a return bad request if it is infected, if there's an error, or if an exception is caught during the scan. Now, the true test of if this works will be to introduce some, at least, simulation of a virus. There is this website, secure.acar.org/acar.com.txt. Here they have a txt file which has a sequence that every antivirus will see as a virus. So when you download this file or you save the file with this sequence, be sure that you save it in a directory where you have disabled the antivirus scanning from, because your antivirus will see it as a virus and you won't be able to actually save the file. So for testing and educational purposes, feel free to use this just to verify that our ClamAV scan works. So before we jump over to a full test, to verify that TXT files can be uploaded, I've extended the list. So now .txt is a part of that list. And with that change, we can go ahead and do a test. So my first test is to upload our standard test.txt file. And you'll see here that the scan status is clean. Now I'm going to try with the file that contains the virus. And when I execute, you're going to see no viruses are accepted. So that means it failed that virus scan. And that is how we know that our ClamAV is working. If you were to look at the container's logs, you would see where it shows that the in-stream iCar test signature was found in the uploaded file. And with that, we have secure file uploads in our system.